Well, what's up YouTube? Mellow as a Matt here. As you can see from screen today, we are back with some Zero deck profiles. I wanted to leave it a bit because obviously the four I've got lined up all were either set 2 or came out literally the moment set 1 actually ended, so I wanted to properly test to make sure I was happy with the lists. But I'm at a point now that I'm actually happy with these. Happy to do deck profiles on them. So we're actually going to start up with the one that finished literally the end of set 1 with the event, and that is Victor combined with Seraph Snow. I'm going to go into the list. So this is a combination of the clan event that came just after, at the start of the Alt season, along with the Tower event that came after that. Honestly, it's the best way to actually combine the two from what I found in testing. So going to go down the list. Starting off, we have obviously Aurora Battle Princess, Ruby Rose. Ruby Rose has got a different skill from the TCG counterpart. So, skill is, when this is your Vanguard, you can return a grade 1 from your hand back to your deck, search your deck for the grade 1. And then when you ride Seraph Snow on top of grade 2, when you ride Seraph Snow for the first time, you can then bind this, remove this from the game from your soul, then bind the top card of your opponent's deck. As technically put it in jail. And obviously this can be included in all Stargate fans. So really good. The jail does come a bit more predominant later down the line, but honestly, really good card. We're actually going to go from 3s backwards, because obviously we kind of need to explain Seraph Snow with the jail process before we go any further. So we then obviously move on to Seraph Snow. She's got the Persona Ride ability, which obviously if you ride Seraph Snow on top of Seraph Snow, you then draw a card and she gains plus 5k. Second skill, well, say second, it's technically the first skill, is when this unit attacks, your opponent has one or more card in their prison, you gain power plus 3000. Then second, if you have 2 or more in prison, this unit gets drive plus 1 and you draw a card. Obviously, this gives her a stride ability. Because you draw as if you've strode and you get triple drive like a stride. So honestly, really good card. Third skill is Vanguard Circle once per turn, Cat Blast 1. Randomly pick one of your opponent's units with priority to the back row and prison it. So obviously, this combined with Star gives you the 2 easily. This does get around the anti-retires, but doesn't get around full resist. And get cards out of prison, because we do need to cover that. Get cards out of prison. It's a static ability of start of your turn before you draw. You can counter blast 1 to free a unit from the prison. Choose how many to free as you want. You can choose which ones to keep, which ones to keep there, and which ones to call out. So really interesting mechanic, honestly. You then run 4 copies of the other boss unit, which is Extreme Battle of Victor. Victor's got 3 skills again. First one is GB2. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, choose one of your rear guards, stand it, and that unit gets power plus 3000. Second skill, when this unit is strode upon, you may choose one of your Vanguards, so basically the stride unit, and it gets the skill of Vanguard Circle once a turn. When this unit's attack hits a Vanguard, you can counter blast 1, stand one of your rear guards, and it gets power plus 3000. And third skill is obviously when this unit's placed on Vanguard Circle plus 3000. So they did nerf him from his TCG counterpart from being a just on attack to an on hit. Doesn't sway him too much because he's still a very good card. It just gives you more. You have to be careful of when you hit and when you don't hit with him. So we run 4 copies of him and our odd grade 3, because we do obviously run the 4 heal triggers. We do run 1 copy of this guy, which is literally on place counter charge 1. Because this deck does get very counter blast heavy very quick. Grade 2s, we run 4 copies of Cool Hank. He's also from the event. His skill is GB1, once per turn. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, whilst boosted, you can Cat Blast 1. Choose one of your rear guards, stand it, and it gets power plus 3000. So, more than Nova Grappler multi-attack style, really strong card. It does actually help some of your units scale, which is really nice. Because obviously, plus 3k, when you're combining it with our next card we're actually going to discuss, we're going to jump around a bit. We are going to jump to Aglaluge, who gains plus 2k. That's 11 plus the 3 makes 14, plus the 7k booster, 21k column. Really nice. But let's see how aggregates and plus 2k. Her skill is Rearguard Circle. When this unit is placed, if your Vanguard is Seraph Snow, you can counterblast 1, and then choose one of your opponent's rearguards at random with priority to the back row and imprison it. So, another way to get stuff into your prison. Really nice. And then obviously her second skill is during both players' turns, if you have 2 cards in your prison, you can then get power plus 2000. So obviously if you've got 3 in there, they only take 1 out, you stay at 2, she's still on 11k intercept, which is really strong. And obviously the same bit of, this is used in all Stargate decks. Obviously you can see we're starting to get even more counterblast, so we do utilise 4 copies of Hungry Dumpty. Hungry Dumpty skill on plays countercharge 1. Our one off is obviously the ride line grade 2 of, I can never remember their names, but the pink one. She's got the same skill of starter of putting a random grade 3 from put a grade 3 of your choice from your hand back to your deck to ride Seraph Snow from your deck. And Rearguard Circle, if you have got 1 card in your prison, this gets power plus 1000, so it's a 10k intercept, but you don't use it at all for that skill. Then the grade 1s, we do obviously have the 4 Stride Fodders, which also have the skill of on plays discard a grade 3 to then search your deck for an Extreme Battler Victor. So obviously, if you don't have a grade 3 in hand, you can call this down, add Victor to hand, and depending on your situation later on in the game, when you go into hit grade 3, you can return the Victor to either grab Seraph Snow or ride the Victor. Depends on what you need for the situation. And obviously, we play 4 countercharging PGs because countercharge is too useful. And our last unit, this is a option of mine. You can go with Claydol Mechanic, but I've actually gone for Toolkit Boy. Toolkit Boy's skill is when it at the end of the battle, this unit boosts an attack that hits, Vanguard attack this is, you can then countercharge 1. Obviously you can use Claydol for the on place, but I wanted a bit more consistent soul countercharge. So obviously, whilst you're swinging with on the a Seraph Snow, you're normally just 3 basic attacks, not doing much with it. You're going to be countercharging every turn. So nice simple play. Really good card personally. And the last one obviously is the grade 1 of the ride line, whose rearguard skill is when it's placed, if your opponent's got a unit in prison, you counterblast 2 and draw 1. Again, not used because obviously you want it in your ride. And she's got the same skill as the grade 1 and the grade 0 and the grade 2 of returning a random grade 2, or random grade 2, any get grade 2 from the hand to deck to grab the grade 2 of the ride line. So you've got that presence. G-Zone, however, you haven't got much, and due to how hard it was to actually get GRs from the event, I actually skipped on to getting the last 2 GRs, and actually I'm just using 2 Cray Elementals for now. But honestly, you only need 2 Vic 10s, because, well not Vic 10, Victoplasma. He's your finisher for the deck. The Victoplasma skill is Vanguard Circle, Generation Break 2, once per turn, Counterblast 2 and flip a copy of himself. Choose one of your Vanguards, it gets Drive -1 and it gets the following skill of at the end of the battle this unit attack to Vanguard, discard 2 cards, draw a card and restand this unit. So obviously this is your multi-attacking Vanguard, this is your finisher for the deck. Really nice card honestly. And then our other stride we run is a Vic 10, whose skill is Vanguard Circle. When its unit attack hits a Vanguard, choose one of your rear guards, stand it, and give it plus 3k. So obviously, this is your early stride you go into if you want to hit, restand a rear guard. Ideally, an Aggro Rouge make that 21k column again. As we said, it's a really nice scaling number. Honestly, a really fun deck to play. You have got so many different combos you can go with this deck. I shall catch you guys in the games. Right, so we are now going into the games. Obviously, we are still pre-nerfs at this point, so EX is very dominant on the ladder still, along with the occasional duos and brawlers still being a threat at the moment. So that will, obviously, as I'm recording this, tomorrow is when the nerfs come in for the brawlers, and basically Big Bang Knuckle Buster and the X get their nerfs tomorrow. So obviously with this hand here, we've got the grade 2 already. Keep that in hand. We can actually return that to deck actually. Still grab it anyway. Return you, keep the 1, 2, 3, and we can then grab the right line from deck from hand cards anyway. Obviously with us now drawing into the big cool hang, we can return that and actually keep the counter charge in hand for the following turn. We are against OTT, which again is another popular deck on the ladder at the moment for the fact of they've just had their event now. Cat draw a card. So the one deck that's been prominent, which I will address, has actually been, as we return the Toolkit Boy, is Imperial Daughters made a return, which I'm guessing this is what this deck is. Because obviously you can stride to get around your resist, and then during your turn you're still a 21k body. Which for us doesn't make too much of a difference, because obviously Sarah Snow can easily get that 21k mark. But it's down to, obviously you can't tell early game what you're going to be against. Cat for more drawing, I'm fine with this. 8, and now because I've actually drawn 9, oh, we are going to overdraw. It is a mass draw deck, fair enough. We've actually got the Persona Ride in hand now, which is really good. And the heal trigger means the Vanguard now can't hit, which is really good. Actually, no, he can if he triggers, as he does. Okay, this is Susanoo. Okay, interesting. I'm going to have to play more cards down from my hand now, because we are about to overdraw. Please don't lose anything important. Pride Fodder, that's fine, I can do with losing that. So, because obviously got it in hand now, we do ride pink, and I'm actually going to afford to call down a Cool Hank. Wing. And then switch Vanguard. Next turn, obviously, we can return a grade 3 from hand. Ride the Sarah Snow from the deck. We have still got 3 left in the deck. I do have to be careful of what I do click for prisoning, as he calls more of a hand down, so he's not in the best of positions. He's more likely with grade 3. He is going to push us to 4. But he looks to be playing 9 stand, which is interesting. As we draw that, we are now going to cap hand again. Oh, we actually don't cap hand. Apologies. So we're going to actually... So here's where thoughts now come in. I can technically stride straight away. So I'm going to have enough rear guards to do stuff. But I don't think I'm going to this turn. I'm going to wait for one more turn. And we're actually going to use you to imprison. And you to imprison. Not you to countercharge, sorry. And we'll imprison with Seraph. Preferably I want it to hit this. Which it does, good, because I don't want him having the Tom in the bind to play around with. And just so I can guarantee hitting the Vanguard, I'm going to call this down here. Not using its skill. Obviously, this can now swing Vanguard. Swing 11 at his Vanguard, and then from the starter skill, not starter skill, from Seraph's skill, we're actually going to scale up past his defensive anyway. See here, yep, plus 3k. We draw another counter charger, which is too bad at this point. Next turn's going to be a stride turn. I will still Persona Ride though to gain the actual draw out of it. You can see I've not got many boosters, and that's where I'm struggling at this point. He does whiff a heal, which is really good. Both at 4. I can use next turn as my Vic 10 setup turn. He's going to call the Dark Cat back out, which is good for me because that means it's a draw. He's going to call out the grade 1 again as well, so he's using all his counter blasts up, which I've got no issues with. We do go to a hand size of 8, so we have still got room to play with drawing. But all his counter blasting he's been doing to freeing stuff from prison has left him with only one counter blast to play with. So obviously, we're still on the edge at the moment. He does use his last counter blast now to use Susanoo's skill. Unless he's got the grade 1 that lets him counter charge. You do hit a hand cap now, which I'm fine with. If he hits a stand, I then get to go off anyway. Let's check nothing. Check stand trigger for him. Running low on his stands, I believe. Third check stand trigger. Okay, so I am going to be losing both my heal and the PG in my hand. Gets his on hit, which is fine. So there's the heal. So from judging from what I've got, I actually don't. I think I have to stride now for the fact of. Yeah, so I'm going to re-ride, get the extra draw. I need to play to my advantages at this point. Then going to stride into you, using Seraph Snow as the discard fodder. What I technically could have done was rode Victor, then strode. Because obviously, well, I then wouldn't have drawn this Victor, so. Whereas this way, I've now got this I can use as an imprisoned target. Which then puts me back up to 2 again. So cool you down. I'm not too fussing over the cool tank play this turn. I'd rather save that for next turn when I'm planning to do the Victor Plasma with push for game turn. So swing you here. You here. You to the Vanguard. First check's a draw trigger. We're going to give power that side so it guarantees forces a PG out of hand. PG slash heal out of hand. Second check nothing. Third check nothing. Obviously it then hits. Kill, 3 stands, that, and let's take something out of his hand. You take a heal. So now what we do is we pray he doesn't have Tom in hand, and we're in a very good position. Next turn I can then ride Victor, stride using Victor, and go for Plasma with 5 face up technically, because I'll have the charger in hand as well. Rides into Keeling. And use no skill to get him another top 2 check, so he's properly digging for that Silent Tom at this. Does he have the Tom is the question though. That down, calls that down. Do we see the Tom? We do see the Tom, so it is there. Yep, swings at that. Full blast 1, draw a card. Shuffle stand back in. Hits his stand, because obviously deck's stupidly low now, so the stand chance was high. Obviously, he's doing that to try and force out any heals we might have in hand. Obviously, we PG, which shows that Tom can now swing in. We are reliant on a 6 damage heal, but if we do hit 6 damage heal, we are in a very good spot. We do not hit. And that is game 1. I shall see you guys in a minute. Alright, and go for game 2. See who we get this. But as I was saying, start of the previous game before I lost track of it, we've got the Knucklebuster and the X nerfs coming as of tomorrow. They might slightly decrease in ladder play, but we'll have to wait and see. I've got shadows this game, and we don't see that often on the ladder. So I think what I'm going to do with this hand is I'm actually going to return just 1 PG. Now, there we go. I can now return Toolkit Boy, Cool Hank, and then obviously and Victor at the end of this. He is starting, so he will get the use of full bow. Ideally, I'd like to have gone first in this matchup, so I can then imprison the full bow straight away, before he actually got a chance to activate it. We do draw a Toolkit Boy and Stride Fodder, which is really good, because that means we keep a Toolkit Boy back to get counter charge consistent. So we return that, get the grade 1. Not going to call anything down, just going to do a basic swing Vanguard. No trigger. Damage check from him, more likely going to be... Nope, no trigger from him either, even better. So obviously, shadows don't change much gameplay wise from Legion 2G. It is literally grade up. You still sit on the grade 3 grade crud, but this time you can actually stride obviously to by the time till you're ready to push with the grade crud Legion. Yep, does cool down. Mecha, can't blast 1, grab the Torrent, and calls blast out revenge on the other side. So he's going full aggro. Bit strange from him, but go ahead, buddy. Heal trigger now blocks everything from me, apart from him hitting a trigger on here, which he doesn't hit. So his entire turn has been blocked off, which I'm absolutely fine with. So obviously, I now return a Cool Hank back from that hand to deck. Grab the grade 2, but I'm actually not going to commit my hand. I'm just going to swing at a rear guard, force him to then overcommit, which is absolutely perfect for me, honestly. No trigger. Obviously now he's got 2 cards left in hand, 1 face down damage. For him to even do anything for his grade 3, he's got to then have Blasted Out Revenge in hand to get the counter charge, which at that point draws one of them out for me, which is what I want. Yep, doesn't have it, so swing in. No trigger. I'll obviously end up going to 3, which I'm absolutely fine with, because that means I can now play around with the full bow, because that's free real estate there. Heal trigger, beautiful, so I don't actually go to 3, I stay at 2. Right, so obviously do this. We do go into Seraph's Soul. And Ruby Rose binds itself, and we hear a PG, beautiful. We are not going to be striding. It is going to be RNG if we hit what we actually want to hit. I'd love to hit the starter. Nope, hit a Dorrent. Bit of a downsides, but still not bad. I'll do that so I can get my counter charge. Now I can then swing this at rearguard, this at vanguard. I'll still have the 2 in prison because obviously where he's at, and then I can draw. Yep, draw a stride fodder, which is good for next turn. Heal trigger, so we actually heal back down to 1, which is really good for us. We are a slow deck. It does take us time to do what we want. We are going to be very much striding next turn. As there go all my Seraph Snows. So we're not going to be Persona riding this game. I'm still going to sit on it for the fact of if I draw into an Aggro Rouge, still not in a bad position. Plus, if he actually doesn't take out his cards from the prison... Actually, if he leaves his cards in prison, I might re-ride over. One's going to stay in there no matter what. Yep, he's going to call the Doran out. Front of the other door... That's interesting. Meaning his hand's not amazing and he can't do anything. So I think this is the point of... It's actually proving us going aggro with Seraph Snow this turn could actually be really good for us. Not Seraph Snow with Victen. It does go down to 1, so yes, we do need to be a bit more aggro. As we do go to 3. Do end up overdrawing because we are at hand cap. Because of the situation, I actually do want to ride Victor. And then stride Vic 10. We are going to discard EU. It is going to be a lot of swings at this. Obviously, skills given to the Vanguard. We are going to have to waste a Hungry Dumpty, unfortunately. Pull you down here. You here. You here. And not use your skill. Come on. You down here. There we go. And not use your skill again. So what the plans are is we swing this into this. I'll then swing this at Vanguard. Using its skill, restand Mr. Humpty Dumpty. Plus 3k. So we're now 19k column. Does hit a defensive, so that does screw us slightly there. But what we'll actually do is we'll swing boosted at the rear guard. Then swing Vanguard to Vanguard. Now we can stand the whole Hungry Dumpty column. Kill trigger, beautiful. Go down to 2. We are going to be pushing it forward this turn. And he hits a heal trigger, so he's staying. He's not going to be going to 4 either, so he can't push. We then stand you. And Counterblast to restand you. Then, because obviously we've boosted by Toolkit Boy, we can then countercharge it back again, so it doesn't actually cost us anything. Oh, we're 1k short of actually hitting, so he does stay at 2. Oh, that double defensive actually did hurt in the end. But he is running out of a lot of steam at this point now. Obviously, our hand's not looking the best either. And he is actually going to be able to retire one of our units, which he gets with the Hank. Cool Hank's not an issue because obviously we've got Cool Hank in hand. He does have a tank. That will cause issues. 10Ks do cause issues for the deck. So obviously we're now going to be pushed to 4. But how he's playing, he's got the Grade 3 in hand for his Break Rod. So what I need off my top decks is I need a Grade 2 ideally, pulling to that empty slot. And I need to hit a draw trigger. Unless I don't Victoplasma this time. Oh, actually, that's not it. So we got to think. I think we are going to have to actually go for this. Hope that we in this. No, we'll try one more turn of waiting. I think that's our best bet. Okay. So we're going to call this here, and battle phase. What we'll do is we'll swing boosted into the 10k. Got to. And then swing unboosted here. We are actually going to push into 5 this turn, actually, now I've thought about it. Draw trigger. That's actually might have just saved us there. Giving power here. Second check nothing. Third check nothing. And obviously Vic 10 gets his skill, which we are going to stand EU. Then Victor's stride skill will stand this. And we then counter charge. We'll then swing 19 at this. Freestand this. That makes that 27, so even if he defensive there, we'd break past it. And swing Vanguard. 5 damage, he's got to kill us this turn. We've got double PG in hand. So we're in a very, very strong. Because obviously for his Legion, he got to retire 3 Revengers. And his Swordbreaker Angels aren't Revengers. So he's either got to commit over them, which at that point reduces his hand to next to nothing, or he's going to have to retire his front row and take 3 plus swing face. Yep, so he calls Mecha, and Mecha then, yep, that's how he's going to get around it. He is going to overcall all of his stuff. He is going to force both PGs from our hands. Obviously, Blast Attack will counter Blast 2 to retire one of my rear guards. He'll then counter charge 1. But that does also mean he is going to be removing one of his intercepts unless he calls over the Swordbreaker. Yep, there's the Legion. Turning a heal, 2 draws, and a Dorrant, because obviously gone through a lot of Dorrants already. Yep, so he is going to be removing one of his own intercepts, which is good for us. Rear guard. Get anything? First check draw trigger. Check draw trigger. He's got all the chance to hit his PGs. Still triggers off this at this point. Which card is he going to remove? Yep, he removes the marker itself. Okay, interesting. Yep, the hands. Vanguard. First check heal trigger. That is annoying. But depending on what we draw into, we can make it work. Yeah, no, I'm not going to bother with that. What we're going to do is we're going to do this and do this. We're actually going to force 3 attacks at his Vanguard. This is literally our final push, and we do anything. This. We'll then swing Vanguard next. We then have the on hit from the Vanguard going off. First check nothing. Second check draw trigger. Beautiful. We're going to give that to this side. It hits, so this stands. Plus 3k. Swing with it first. Heal. That's fine. Swing with this again. Heal. And this again. Take another heal out of his hand. And does he have another guard for us, or do we actually win? Nope, he doesn't have a guard. So he's relying on a heal, which I don't think he's got at this point. Nope, that is game. I shall see you guys in a minute. Right, so those were the games. The game 1 didn't go the best, because obviously we did lose to Tom, but there's nothing we could do about it. We didn't have the PGs for Tom anyway, so a bit back and forth. Did lose that one, but the Revenger one actually went really well. Got to show off a lot of combos in the deck and show off actually base fixes GB2, which is really nice. But that is it going to be it for this video. If you haven't done so already, please do like, comment, subscribe. It very much does help the channel, and I shall catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.